thing I absolutely love about this particular recipe, I've just cut 12 slices of eggplant, about 1/3 of an inch thick. But what's amazing is I love eggplant Parmesan. So many people love it. But if you really make it the old-fashioned way, like my grandmother made it, you're dipping in egg and flour and breadcrumbs and frying, and it's quite the operation. So this recipe is really going to be of interest to you if you love eggplant parm, because what we're doing here is grilling the eggplant instead of actually putting it through all that frying business. And we're taking all those wonderful flavors that you love from that, but we're gonna stack it. It's just a great, great, great recipe. It's easier and the flavor's amazing. I'm doing a little olive oil to start with. Another difference here is that my grandma would salt it and let it sit to get all of the moisture out of the eggplant, and some would say the bitterness. I guess we could say this is kind of a modern take on how to do it. And right over here to my right, I have my trusty grill pan, which is heating to quite high. And I love to have a grill pan. You should have one in your life if you love to grill and you don't necessarily have the opportunity to go outside. So just get all your pieces on here, and then you can go about getting the rest of your stuff all organized. We're making eggplant stacks, little individual stacks. All right, here we go. And need a little bit more olive oil, which I'm just gonna quickly kind of drizzle. Doesn't have to be a big deal. Once it turns over, the griddle will have the olive oil from the first side. And then salt. That's important. You need to season this. You really need to season your eggplant. Make sure it's on high, and I'm gonna leave it now to get my filling. Now, this generally would be a part of what you would make as your coating, where you're coating and dipping and frying and going through all that business I'm talking about, which I'm not. So I have 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs here. I like my breadcrumbs plain. Don't buy those seasoned breadcrumbs. I mean, actually, if you have them in your cabinet, it's okay, don't worry. I won't be mad at you, you can use it. But I like fresh, I like to season my own breadcrumbs. So I want about 1/4 cup of Parmesan. So give yourself a good amount here. And one of the beautiful things about this recipe is that you can multiply it depending on however many people you're cooking for. This is just for the 4 of us tonight and maybe a few friends. And not my husband, although maybe he'll come home and there'll be some left. I doubt it, and maybe he'll actually love it. All right, then you just mix this together. And now I'm gonna season my breadcrumbs. The thing is that if you buy them in the store, it's dried seasoning, and any time you have a fresh flavor, if you cut it and start to dry it, you're losing a little bit of the strength of that flavor. So I have fresh oregano here, and gosh, that just takes you right to Italy. I'm telling you, smell oregano. I want about 1½ teaspoons chopped. And if I end up having more than I need here, I'll just save it aside. And then I need basil. And basil, I want a couple tablespoons. And basil, you know, is really one of those things for me that do not translate well dried. Dried basil tastes kind of like nothing to me. Fresh basil, oh my gosh. You want to eat it, you want to make it into perfume. There's nothing that smells better. And then one quick way to do this is to get your leaves together and just kind of roll them. So you can at least first get your chopping done, and then you can go in the other direction. So we need a couple tablespoons here. And then we just need some black pepper because we have flavor in that cheese. So we probably don't need too much salt, and we're salting our eggplant. And where we're going here is exactly where you go, again, with your central casting eggplant Parmesan. We have tomato sauce. We have cheese. Let's see, pepper, important. It's just that we're doing it, like I say, deconstructing it in a different way. And that's kind of how you make a recipe modern, make it your own, just do something a little bit different. This gets all mixed up. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna turn these babies here and let them cook. So it takes about 8 to 10 minutes for your eggplant to cook through on your grill pan to make this deconstructed eggplant Parmesan. And as I take them off the grill, I'm just stacking them on top of each other, and it creates a little bit of steam and cooks them a little bit more, which is nice. So of course you need your mozzarella cheese for eggplant parm. So I am just gonna cut this piece here in 12 pieces because I have 12 pieces of eggplant or thereabouts. Let's see here. Sometimes if it gets a little sticky like this, you can chill your cheese and it'll cut a little easier. All right, so we're all ready to go. We have our eggplant, we have our breadcrumb and cheese mixture, which I've made, and tomato sauce. I'm gonna make about 4 stacks here. So I think since I've already got a few going, I'm just gonna get them all ready. And so this is what's kind of fun about this recipe. Again, I keep saying this, but we're not dragging it through the flour and through the egg and through the breadcrumb and then frying it. That takes a long time. And this doesn't. This is great. So I start with the bottom layer. And the other beautiful thing about this is that you can make this stacking in advance if you're having people over or you want to feed everyone later. Get this part done first. All right, so the first thing we do is just get a spoon and get some sauce on each layer. Put a good 2 tablespoons. This is gonna cook in the oven, so we'll be absolutely fine. It's all gonna melt together and be unbelievably amazing. And this is the other thing I love about this recipe. Breadcrumbs, instead of being coated, they go into our little stack, and then the cheese goes on top. And that's how we actually incorporate all the flavors of your traditional dish, but we just do it a little bit differently, and then put on your mutts, and then repeat. So I'm just gonna finish it off. This is our last little bit that's gonna really be hit by that heat in the oven, so I wanna make sure that I have enough, but not too much. That's the other thing. I don't really love things drowned in sauce. I love the sauce to be a bit of a condiment. And then we have our breadcrumbs. The great thing about these breadcrumbs, you can freeze them just like this, or you can keep them in the fridge. And they're the same breadcrumbs you're gonna use if you wanted to make meatballs, or you were gonna make meatloaf, or anything like that. And then our last few pieces of mutts. And I'm not sure that this is in my original recipe, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I want a little drizzle of olive oil. It's just crying out for a little drizzle of olive oil. And this is it. Does that look good? All right, I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees, and this is gonna cook for about 20 minutes till it's fully melted and bubbling, and the eggplant will be perfectly cooked at that point.
And Mom, you wanna drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil?
Oh yeah, good idea. Just a little bit of a glisten.